Hi, take two without the personal information that I goofed last time. This is geared for one person, Ron Collins, who's fairly illiterate. So video is probably better. But if you want to watch just to take a lesson and watch the drama and have a few laughs, maybe fine. So yeah, so Ron Collins, aka the Pedo Bear, has once again challenged me to a fight. Yeah, right. Again. I'm going to give him some advice and such, just to see if he can turn his life around instead of the pathetic waste that it is right now. So, Ron, if you're watching this, I'm going to remind you that at least four times, you have said that you wanted to fight me. I have given you a shot, and you ended up running away. You've bitched out at least 4 times. The last time you said that if I flew out to West Virginia, you would get a gym and we could settle things and all that. Then after I bought the tickets and arranged to do a seminar in the area, you went on a podcast saying, uh, called Carson's Corner, and you said that you were pulling out and you weren't doing it and made excuses. Okay, just like you always make excuses. Okay, so let's just face facts, Ron. Nobody believes that you actually want to fight me. Nobody thinks that you're actually going to step up. I saw that thread in the other ground, that you started, and the last few comments when you use that homosexual slur against me and starts talking about how you want to fight me, and everyone else in that group is making fun of you. You're the butt of their jokes, and they're openly laughing at you for saying that you want to fight me because they know you don't. They know that you're just going to run again. It's kind of pathetic, Ron. Kind of pathetic. But you know, nobody believes that you want to fight. Here's the thing: if you really want to do it, you're gonna have to put some skin in the game. You're gonna have to lose something. If I fly out there and before it can go on, you say, "Oh, it's all a joke," by ha ha ha, and you run away again. I'm talking cash, not too much, but enough to make it worth my while to travel 2,000 kilometers to see you, even if you back out. So yes, how much am I talking? Okay, let's see. Mm, Okay, at least this much, at least $1,000. If you want to put up more, hey, I'll cover it. I've got plenty of people that would also like to cover things. We each give it to a third party, which is called escrow, and the money goes to the winner. Okay. And if you pull out or I pull out, then the other person gets the money because that's forfeiting. That's it. Okay. If you're serious about this, and you really plan to go through with this, then you should have no problem. But if you're not willing to, take that risk, nobody's going to take you seriously. You're just going to keep being a laughing stock. And I'll point out, if you really think that you're going to show up and you really believe that you can beat me, it's a sure bet, right? So, who wouldn't want to take $1,000 from their most hated enemy? So the ball's in your court. If you don't want to go through, then just zip it, Ron, zip it, because nobody's going to take you seriously. And everyone's going to laugh at you. And I would like to actually go out, do this, take $1,000 off of you. Now I know the excuse that you're going to say, it's basically, how are you going to get? How am I going to get $1,000? Well, are you an American or an American, Ron? Hmm? You know, um, I hear, I've seen things, and you're already talking about doing an appeal for your felony conviction, and from what I understand, that's like $500 to file. Well, okay, there you go, $500 because Ron, you don't need to do an appeal. The last time it went to court, they dismissed it with prejudice. And go ahead, talk to a lawyer. When it's with prejudice, you can't go any further. It's dead in the water. No filings, no appeals. If you go down with the paperwork to try to appeal it and put the money, down, but you're just going to get a little note a few weeks later saying denied. So you are a convicted felon, Ron. You always will be a convicted felon. You can't vote. You can't own a gun legally. You know, That's it. Just live with it. And that $500 that you were planning on using to appeal, well, you can put it to this fund to see me like you say you want to. As for the rest, well, maybe you can, find people that will lend you money that think you can win, you know, or, maybe you could hawk your mother's stuff, and, temporary loan. Again, if putting down $1,000, you get $1,000. So not only get the money that you got from the hawk money, you get extra. It makes no sense if you actually think that you can win to not go ahead and start borrowing money to prove all this. But nobody thinks that you're going to do that. And here's where I give you some really harsh truths, okay, Ron? And I'm being very honest, and you need to hear this. Just remember, the truth shall set you free, but first it will piss you off. Here's the thing, Ron, you will never face me because it would destroy you. It would tear apart every last remnant of the fantasy that you've built about yourself. Let's be honest, Ron. You want to be me. Most people will want to be like Bill Gates or Brad Pitt, someone like that, rich, famous, handsome, popular. But no, you want to be the high ranked ninja. You want to be the skilled strategist. You want to be the master manipulator. That's me, Ron, not you. Okay. Everything you want to be, I am. Maybe not as good as the guys that taught me, but yeah, I am worlds better than you, and you envy me. You want to be me. And in your twisted view of the world, that means that you hate me and you're trying to convince yourself in the world that our positions are reversed, that I'm the coward and you're the guy that's willing to fight. You see? Oh, you're the guy that got training and I'm the guy that doesn't know what he's doing. You envy the 15 years in Japan I learned this, the ancient text of ninjutsu that I've translated, the the books that I've written, the respect that I get from people in the Bunjinkan and others. You envy all this and you're trying to make it reverse things. But if you ever got in a ring, part of you is lucid enough to realize you're not going to win. You're going to lose badly. And that will destroy this last fantasy you've got. And it would destroy you as a person. And so you're going to avoid it at whatever the cost. All the time trying to convince yourself that because you're screaming so loudly about fighting me, that that proves that what you're saying is true, that I'm scared to fight you. You're just trying to reinforce that. That's the way it is, Ron. Okay. And like so you're never going to step up. And my best advice is just give up, Ron. Okay. There's no conspiracy against you by the government. I mean, it's really funny. I mean, look at your life, Ron, compared to me. I had a wonderful wife. Spent a quarter of a century with her over that. And I'd still be with her if she hadn't started smoking those fucking cigarettes as a teenager. You know, I've got two wonderful children. They're both like in full scholarships in STEM. Wow, you're in your 40s, Ron. You've never been married. You never had kids. You got to think about it, Ron. It's understandable why you're envying me. I mean, you want to be like this master, manipulator, skillful strategist. I just got news that my book on the 36 strategies of Asia. They're talking to me about like putting it in print form instead of ebook form and putting it in the library of every officer training school and military academy in the United States. Wow, your strategy? Um, well, when got convicted of felony, you gave the prosecutor all the evidence he needed. He needed every video, every blog. That's all he needed to do. All he needed to do was subpoena the gun store that you lied on the form for the FFL form. And it took like 30 minutes for the jury to convict you because of what you did. You screwed yourself up in that. And now you're trying to say, okay, well, it really didn't matter. It really didn't count. Really? I mean, this master plan you keep talking about, how you're going to take anyone around that you've been blasting for years. Really, Ron? I mean, you spent like 18 months in the rubber Ramada, 4 years looking over your shoulder in the prison showers. Really, Baldrick? That was your cunning plan? As for modern ninjutsu, I mean, do you even Nmap? Do you know what an H-ping is? I'd be surprised if you even know what OSINT is without looking it up. You certainly don't know how to use the things that I use on my job, which I'm not going to tell you, like this and this. You don't know what they are or how they're used or anything like that, And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a sex toy. Well, it's not intended to be a sex toy. On an unrelated note, today, November 10th, is the birthday of the United States Marine Corps. I guess if you're inventive enough, almost anything, I better not go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, okay, so you don't know what social proof is, which anyone doing social engineering would. You're not a ninja, Ron. I've written books on the subject. I do jobs that I'm not allowed to say that makes me a lot more of a ninja than you. And I don't think of myself as a ninja. That self-image isn't important to me, but it's important to you. It's time to give it up, Ron. It's time to get on with your life. First thing, you got to understand limitations. If you don't understand what your limitations are, you can't move anywhere. If you're in a fantasy thinking that you can do stuff, you're just going to keep embarrassing yourself. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge that you are mentally disturbed and that people are trying to help you. It's going to be hard, Ron, because you're going to have to give up all this entire fantasy that you built up that make you look so much more than you are. But it's a false narrative, Ron. You can't go forward with a false narrative. Once you understand how little you are, you can work with what you've got. You can start to grow. If you acknowledge that you are out of shape, and let's face it, I'm 10 years older than you and I am in much better shape. Once you acknowledge that you are in bad shape, then you can start exercising. But if you think, oh, I'm fine, I don't need exercise, then you're never going to get skinny. It's the same thing with everything in your life, Ron. You're 40 years, I mentioned my wife and my kids, you're 40 years old and you've never been married, never had kids. That's why you envy me, among other things. You'll never get anyone to love you, Ron. You have to be a good person inside to get a good person. If you are a worthless, vicious little snot, then that's the only thing you're going to attract. And guess what, Ron? You're alone. Now, if you start to work on yourself and acknowledge that you're not that great, you're pretty vicious, then you can turn things around. And maybe once you do that, then you can start to attract love. You can start to attract friends. You can start hanging out with people that you can respect and will respect you. This is not easy for you to listen to, Ron. And I honestly think you are not strong enough inside to acknowledge this and work on what you need to work on. You will always be in a fantasy. You will always be too weak to stand up and do the right thing for yourself. But I have given you the most honest advice I think anyone has ever given you. And really, Ron, if you can not be as good as me, because I started a lot sooner than you, but you can be the best that you can be. You can be the best Ron Collins. Work in a, car wash, be a barista, sweep streets, whatever. Be productive. Right now, Ron, if you died, it'd be a net gain for society because you'd stop leeching off of it. Nobody would cry for you. You want to die for like that? Go ahead, be productive. Maybe, you know, volunteer at an animal shelter or something. I don't know, but turn your life around, okay? So that's it. I've tried. And again, if you just want to keep screaming about how, you want to fight me and I won't fight you, you know the conditions. If you back out, I got to get, money for it. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.